Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're going to cover classic old school X-Factor issues, and we're going to do issue 24 to 26. This particular story, where we have the second confrontation against Apocalypse, was part of something called The Fall of the Mutants, which wasn't a line-wide crossover, but each title of the mutant side of the Marvel Universe had these certain type of situations where things got really bad for the respective teams. So in the previous issue, X-Factor had battle against Cameron Hodge. We also got the big reveal that Apocalypse has his fourth Horseman, Death, and it's actually Warren Worthington III. This was the era when he got those really gnarly metal wings that could shoot out these razor-sharp feathers that were covered in neurotoxins, that if you got hit, you were completely paralyzed. So with these new wings and that super cool design, Archangel is a total badass of a character. So what happens after this confrontation, Apocalypse teleports all of X-Factor to his base. And Apocalypse is pretty interesting because he doesn't want to destroy X-Factor. He really wants them to get him on his side. He tries to get them on board with this whole war that he wants to start with humanity. He has this whole mantra of the survival of the fittest. We discover that he's very, very old during this story, that he posed as many gods over time with different civilizations. It's also really cool to see Apocalypse's powers during this time. He seems to be like this technomorph. He can shapeshift, but it's always mechanical in nature. And we also have this aspect of his personality that he takes pity on mutants that have gone through very bad situations. He gives them some type of upgrade to their powers or helps them control their powers in the first place. Then he grooms them and makes them into his enforcers. So that's the situation with all the members of the Four Horsemen. In the case of Warren Worthington, he gave him back his wings, but he did get brainwashed. So Apocalypse can't get X-Factor on board with this war that he wants to start, but while he's going through his monologue, Caliban, who had filled in for Angel on the team, always felt that he was just too weak and that his powers, since they were not offensive in nature, he was basically a burden for the team. So basically what happens is we get this battle between X-Factor and the Four Horsemen. At first, X-Factor is winning until Archangel burst onto the scene. X-Factor is totally astounded to see that their friend has come back from the dead and now has become the Angel of Death. And he very swiftly takes down all of his old teammates. They all get captured. And what happens is Cyclops sees Caliban hiding away. He's like, Caliban, please help us escape. And what happens is Caliban doesn't help X-Factor. He goes and pleads to Apocalypse to give him more power. He feels tremendously guilty that he survived the mutant massacre and he couldn't do anything to save his friends. And also, further down the line, we're going to discover that secretly he really wants to hunt down and kill Sabretooth once and for all. I also forgot to mention that this whole story takes place in Apocalypse's ship that used to belong to the Celestials. That in the future, it's going to be the base of operations of X-Factor. And then further down the line in the future is going to become the Grey Malikan, a ship that Cable's going to use in the far future. So what happens is Apocalypse sends his Four Horsemen to attack New York City. X-Factor obviously are able to escape. Half the team goes down and tries to stop the Horsemen, while the other half stays on board to try to stop Apocalypse. And in the case of the two characters that try to fight Apocalypse, Iceman and Beast stand no chance against Insawa, while Cyclops and Jean actually receive help from the Power Pack to take down the Four Horsemen. And we get this really messed up moment where one of the members of the Power Pack by accident breaks Plague's neck and ends up killing her. And she's devastated by this situation. And Cyclops and Jean is like, oh well, she died. Deal with it, kid. We have to keep on fighting this bad guy. I guess that kid has some major post-traumatic issues. And what sort of changes the tide of this whole situation is we have a moment where Archangel swoops in, attacking X-Fsctor, and he's tricked to think that he killed Iceman. Obviously, this is one of Iceman's ice decoys. This breaks Apocalypse's control over Warren Worthington. He snaps out of it. This breaks the mental control that Apocalypse has on Archangel. He snaps out of it. He's like, holy crap, I killed one of my best friends. He turns on Apocalypse, and what happens is Insawa is like, okay, I don't want to deal with this. He leaves with the surviving members of his Horsemen, and also with Caliban, and he actually leaves the ship to X-Fsctor. Obviously, this was after the fact that X-Fsctor was able to stop the ship from destroying half of Manhattan. I really do have to mention something that I realized when I was reading the story is Iceman was a total badass. Like, I hate how they write him nowadays. So the last issue, issue 26, deals with the fallout of this whole battle that X-Fsctor had with Apocalypse. They take up residence in his old ship. So that whole situation with X-Fsctor and the exterminators that was really forced, it's gone for good, thank God. So I'm leaving this video here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.